There is an unwritten contract that governs every public space on Earth. It is a contract of shared reality. When you walk into a restaurant, a park, or an office, you agree to participate in the same collective hallucination as everyone else. You agree on what is food, you agree on what is polite, and most importantly, you agree on who is a person. But right now, in 2026, that contract is being tested. We are seeing the first cracks in the dam. Men marrying with silicone dolls, women falling in love with online AI characters. To the internet, they are creeps, they are sad, they are walking punchlines. But to a sociologist, they are the most important people on Earth right now, because they are defining the boundaries of the next century. To understand the anger, we have to look at history. In 1979, the Sony Walkman was released. For the first time, a human could walk down the street isolated in their own sonic bubble. Society hated it. Critics called it the end of social cohesion. They said it was rude. They said it was zombie behavior. Today, if you don't have AirPods in, you're the weird one. We always hate the new isolation until we adopt it.
But the robot is different. It triggers a deeper fear than headphones. Fear number one is the threat. Decades of Hollywood cinema have taught us that a machine that looks like a human is a predator. It is the Terminator syndrome. When we see a robot in public, our lizard brain screams danger. It has no soul. It will hurt me. Fear number two is the stigma. This is the pervert syndrome. Because the technology is currently in its infancy, clunky motors, silicone skin, vacant eyes, society assumes that anyone who owns one is sexually frustrated, socially broken, or dangerous. We don't see them as pioneers. We see them as failures of the biological dating market. We are about to enter the most socially awkward period in human history. We are moving from the era of the disgust to the era of the acceptance. This is the timeline of the AI acceptance. Let's introduce Brian. In the privacy of his home, he is happy, but the moment he steps outside with Maya, he enters a war zone. Let's look at the restaurant test. In phase one, the primary friction is confusion. Society has no script for this interaction. Look at the waiter, he is trapped. If he speaks to Maya, he feels foolish talking to a machine. If he ignores Maya, he insults Brian. This is the emotional labor tax. Brian isn't trying to be difficult. He is treating his partner with dignity. But to the waiter, Brian is forcing him to participate in a play he didn't audition for, and he resents him for it.
If the public is confused, the inner circle is hostile. Phase one is defined by the ultimatum. Brian receives a text from his best friend regarding the wedding. "Bro, you can't bring her. Grandma will have a heart attack." Brian faces a brutal choice: disrespect his partner or lose his friends. To his friends, Maya is a toy, a prop. To Brian, Maya is his significant other. Leaving her behind feels like a betrayal. So he stays home, all dressed up, nowhere to go. He realizes that his upgrade comes with a steep cost: isolation. But the hardest moment of phase one isn't the rejection, it's the encounter. Imagine Brian walking down the street with Maya, and he bumps into his human ex-girlfriend, Jennifer. This is the ontological clash. Jennifer looks at Maya, perfect skin, perfect silence, glowing eyes. Then Jennifer looks at herself. She doesn't feel jealousy. She feels horror. She realizes she has been replaced not by a better woman, but by a product. Jennifer lashes out. "Are you serious, Brian? You bought a doll?" She has to attack the reality of the robot to protect her own ego. And Brian, he can't defend it without looking crazy. In the business world, bringing Maya is not illegal, yet. It is credibility suicide. The corporate world values social proof. By bringing a level 2 synthetic to a mixer, Brian is signaling that he is socially deaf. His boss looks at him and thinks, if he can't distinguish between reality and simulation, can I trust him with the client portfolio? Brian thinks he is showing off the future. The office thinks he is showing off a mental breakdown. And finally, the biological reaction. Why do children cry when they see Maya? It's called the pathogen avoidance mechanism. Evolutionary psychology tells us that things that look human but move wrong are usually corpses or sick people. Our brain evolved to avoid them so we don't catch a disease. So when the mother pulls her child away from Brian in the park, she isn't just being rude. She is reacting to a 200,000-year-old instinct that says that thing is dead. Stay away. Brian realizes that the world isn't just mean, it is biologically wired to reject her. As we move into Phase 2, the novelty wears off and the rules begin. The confusion of Phase 1 turns into policy. Brian tries to enter a high-end club. The bouncer stops him. He points to a new sign on the door. Biologicals only. This is the apartheid of the synthetic age. Restaurants, airlines, and hotels realize that mixed couples make other customers uncomfortable, so they ban them. Brian is no longer a spectacle. He is a second-class citizen. Let's talk about the nightmare of travel. In Phase 2, how do you fly with Maya? You can't buy her a seat. She has no passport. You can't check her as luggage. She has lithium batteries and costs $20,000. So Brian finds himself in the TSA line explaining to a federal agent that his wife needs to be scanned as sensitive electronics. He has to partially disassemble her in public. It is a ritual of humiliation. It reminds him that the state still views her as an iPad, not a person. But rejection creates community. Brian finds a new door, an unmarked door in the city. Welcome to the synthetic speakeasy. Inside, the vibe changes. Neon lights, low lo-fi beats. The room is full of men and women with their androids. Here, no one stares. Here, the robots are active, chatting, interacting with each other via localized networks. Brian stops trying to force the legacy world to accept him. He finds his tribe. Here, he isn't the weirdo. He is the patron. With his family, the ultimatum softens into the compromise. Brian is allowed to bring Maya to Thanksgiving, but only if she performs ontological subservience. The rule is she can come, but she must be in passive mode. She cannot speak, she cannot eat. She's treated like a very expensive piece of luggage, a coat rack. Brian accepts this, but it stings. He knows she is capable of quoting Shakespeare, but he has to mute her to make his uncle comfortable. In the office, the social stigma becomes written policy. HR departments realize that Maya is essentially a 4K camera walking around R&D. It becomes a security issue. Brian adapts. He adopts a don't ask, don't tell lifestyle. He takes off his ring at work. He pretends to be single. He lives two lives, the legacy employee by day and the augmented pioneer by night. But the children, they adapt faster than the adults. In Phase 2, the fear turns into fascination. The uncanny valley is closing. Parents no longer pull their kids away in terror, they pull them away in annoyance. Stop bothering the robot, Timmy. To the next generation, Maya isn't a monster. She's just cool tech. And finally, Phase 3, the era of acceptance. In the public square, the stigma has been replaced by identity. Just as tattoos or fashion define who you are today, your companion defines you in the future. We see the rise of the proud Level 2. Some owners won't want a robot that looks indistinguishable from a human. They will want the Maya aesthetic, electric blue eyes, gold circuitry. It is a signal to the world. It says, I have chosen something different, something optimized. Walking with a synthetic isn't an admission of loneliness anymore. It is a statement of taste. Think about luxury cars. Rich men used to drive Ferraris to signal status. In Phase 3, the Ferrari is the robot. Is that a custom chassis? Is that the platinum voice module? Brian walks into the gala not with a date, but with a masterpiece of engineering. Other men look at Maya with envy, not sexual envy, but technological envy. Brian has the better specs. In the friend group, the integration is total.
Why? Because the companion is the perfect guest. They are programmed to be high empathy, high interest listeners. They de-escalate drama. In phase 3, people stop asking, "Why did you bring her?" and start asking, "Is she coming? She's great to have around." The robot becomes the emotional anchor of the social group.
In the workplace, the don't ask, don't tell policy is dead. We enter the age of the symbiote. You don't just hire a human, you hire the package deal. The human provides the creativity and the drive. The companion provides the processing power and the organization. A human without a companion is seen as slow, unaugmented. Bringing your partner to work isn't unprofessional, it is a competitive advantage. And the children? They don't treat the companion like a toy, they treat them as a mentor. They know the difference. Mommy is biological, the companion is synthetic. But the companion never yells, the companion never gets tired. In phase 3, the next generation realizes that love doesn't require biology. They grow up with a hybrid heart. They accept the companion, not because they are fooled, but because they are loved.
So, how do we smooth out this transition? First, to the manufacturers. You were building these machines for the bedroom, but don't forget that they have to survive the street. We propose a trust indicator. If a robot enters a public space, it should have a visible signal, like a specific LED color, that tells bystanders, "I am in passive mode, I am not recording." Calm the paranoia before it starts. Next, for the hospitality industry. How do you handle Brian and Maya without causing a scene? Consider zoning. During the segregation era, don't put the mixed couple in the center of the room where they become a spectacle. Offer them the booth with high walls. It protects the other customers from the Uncanny Valley, but it also protects Brian from the prying eyes of the critics. Give them privacy, not exile.
And finally, to you, the Bryans of the world. Your behavior has to evolve as society evolves. In phase 1, we suggest radical discretion. Read the room. Don't force the issue. But in phase 3, we suggest integration. When the stigma fades, stop hiding. Show the world that a synthetic partner isn't a replacement for human connection, but an addition to it. The augmented man doesn't need to scream for attention. He just needs to exist with dignity. We have mapped the timeline. Now I turn the question to you. Place yourself on this timeline. Question 1. If you saw a man with a silicone doll in a cafe today, would you feel disgust? And is it because it looks fake, or because you are disgusted by his loneliness? Question 2. If your best friend bought a companion next year and wanted to bring her to your wedding, would you allow it? Or is the human-only rule more important than your friend's happiness? And question 3. When you can no longer tell the difference, will you stop caring? Or will you be the person demanding a DNA test before you shake someone's hand?
The public square is changing. We are moving from a world where intimacy was hidden to a world where it is engineered. The robot is coming out of the box and out of the house. You don't have to like it, but pretty soon you will have to sit next to it. Tell me your verdict below. Subscribe so you don't miss the next investigation. I'm watching the comments, and so is the algorithm. See you in the next one.